Hello, 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 everybody! Welcome to the LGL Week 4 Power Rankings with the Big Goose and my glorious overweight co-host, Baconater.
I'm not fat, I'm just big boned.
What's the
Oh my
difference?
god, look at his chin. Holy hell.
That's
Look
a
at that.
lot
Look
of
at that.
chin.
Look at that, like, bump on the side of his chin. Like, is that just more chins?
He just stacks chins on the. Who is this man?
There's no way this guy can see his toes.
Heads,
No way.
shoulders.
He can't even reach his knees. He
Yeah,
can
I know,
only do
it's
head
just
and shoulders.
heads, shoulders, fat.
Alright, well, enough about my gluttony.
Let's get
Perhaps we
into
should get
number
into the
16.
16th.
Yeah. Epsilon is our last remaining 0-4. Sorry, that's a spoiler. At 0-4 and -11 after taking a 2-0 loss to the always magnificent Gandhi and his. God, what's his team name?
That's a great question. I don't know offhand.
It's a good team name. I remember it. I remember it being a really good team name.
That sounds right. Here, alright, let me cheat by looking up. Oh yeah, the Dapper Dudes.
The Dapper Dudes. Uh, what the hell is a resistance? Losing again. This was an interesting battle. Rowlet pulled a lot of weight here. It picked up kills on Tortuga and ate up an Execute and a Larvesta before going down. Um, Generally, you want to switch in your Larvesta on the Leaf Blade and then like your Tortuga on the Brave Bird instead of
Mhm.
just leaving your Tortuga in on the Leaf Blade and then having your Larvesta get killed by the Brave Bird. And then
Yeah,
also, yeah,
even if Tortuga's solid rock, you're not living that.
no,
You're just not living it.
no, it's quad effective. Solid Rock mitigates that, but not enough. And then bringing an Execute after you've seen Larvesta get eaten alive. And you had a Stunky, a Drillbur, and a Doduo left over. I think you bring in Drillbur there. Well, it's weak to grass too. This team was
Yeah,
just really weak to Rowlet. You bring in Stunky, I think.
yeah, and hopefully this was the Stunky Eviolite.
I think it was Berry Juice.
Well, either way, it should take one hit from Rowlet.
Yeah, and then it would go back up and it would die to recoil. Probably.
Or a
And
poison move.
or Sucker Punch. It was really low. Um, so yeah, and losing a lot there. Otherwise, the battle was kind of back and forth, staying in on super effective moves, not switching enough. Yeah, it happens. Um,
Mm.
it takes practice to get used to being able to switch. Still using the same top 6 Pokemon on your team. It does make it very easy to remember what the battle was about when I know I just need to look at the top 6.
It's really a crime that Archen and Galarian Slowpoke just sit on the bench
Yeah,
every
honestly,
week.
I'll take your Archon off your hands.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what can I get for that Galarian Slow? What do you want for that Galarian Slowpoke, man? You can use a Psychic.
I mean, Wooper's my old mascot, and it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this team's good, and it just makes me sad seeing it lose. And Epsilon's docket, I think, is impossible at this point.
Yeah, he faces what, Geyser and Shady?
It's Shady, Geyser, Pradyish.
Oh, that is. Nobody wants to face that, and when you're 0-4, I mean, you're going to have to probably beat all of them to make playoffs because of how your differential is.
I mean, bare.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, sorry about the cut, everybody. Dogs went off. Had to do some things, but we're back. Um, yeah, I think his docket looks pretty insurmountable. He'd have to win at least 2 bare minimum. Um, and that's just tough.
That's a
I
lot to ask.
When you lost to the other 2 lowest 3 in the set, it's gonna be hard. It's a big ask to go up against 2 of the top 2. Um, we need to see Epsilon like turn into Wolfie VGC.
I think it'd be really hilarious if, like, say he's 0-6. He's like minus 17 at this point.
Yep.
Final week, he just brings his bottom six.
Yeah.
Completely throws. I think it'd be Geyser for a loop.
No, it'd be Pradyish.
I'll be Prady.
Just brings Dino, Slugma, Lillipup, Wooper, Crabrawler, and like.
No, I just meant like the bottom six on the image.
Oh,
so like,
yeah. Dino,
yeah,
Slugma, Lillipup, Archon, Slowpoke, G, Wooper.
that'd be pretty awful. But
Bad team, yeah.
you know what? At that point, who knows? Maybe it could work.
I just want to see him bring 6 Lillipups. Moving on to number 15. It's, well, I was gonna do a bit of suspense. It's Jamal. Jamal picked up his first win.
Woo!
Let's go. It was a pretty solid 2-0 win over Nougat Boy, dragging his differential up to a -7. It's not good.
Yeah, it's not good yet.
He's still the most likely person in Diamond Group to die, but it's better than nothing, right?
Yeah. I mean, it gives you hope.
Yeah, and he used some really fun sets. I hadn't even thought of Hidden Power Ghost Froakie. It's probably something people do, but like using Hidden Power Ghost on like a fighting type and then their fighting type move doesn't work and then killing them with the follow up Hydro Pump or something, that's kind of cool. Or even like on
Mhm.
high jump kick and they take 50%. That's sick.
That's even cooler.
And Ferroseed running Endeavor is a
Something.
choice. Yeah.
Mhm. Your life, your choices.
I can't personally say I would ever, in my million years of playing, run an Endeavor Ferroseed. But it kind of worked. It took out a Mienfoo basically single-handedly. Um,
Yeah.
it was paralyzed, and Ferroseed had to be in kind of the right position. But you know what? Maybe he didn't have anything he wanted to put in that last slot. Although he could have put like Stealth Rocks or Giga Drain. Not the
Mhm.
point. He picked up a win. Good for Jamal, right?
Yeah.
Hoot hoot.
Makes it slightly obvious, or not slightly obvious, slightly more likely that you could get a playoff spot.
And there's a lot of people at 1 and 3. It's a fray, so it's possible. Coming in at number 14 is the second worst record in Pearl Group, ahead of Epsilon. And it's a 1 and 3 -6 of Chronoculars. He ended up losing this week 1-0 to Geiser, which is not bad. Um, like
Mhm.
when you're this low, Geyser is one of the top people in your group. Picking up a low differential loss is kind of a win.
Yeah, because it makes it so your differential, it doesn't get too much worse, but I think it gives you hope. Like
Yeah.
losing only 1-0 to a very good opponent,
Hmm.
definitely it almost raises your spirits a little more.
And I think he actually had an out to win that game if he had played it just a tad differently. Um,
Mhm.
I think no, this team isn't outdated. There was some he could have handled the final bull picks a little bit better. There was like a sack he could have made. Unfortunately, we don't have this replay, so
Yeah.
we weren't able to really reanalyze it, but I do remember distinctly there was kind of a play he could have made. He actually messaged me about it. If he had made the plays a little bit differently, he might have been able to pick up that win. That would have been huge. I mean, beating Geyser would have put him into conversations for survival, really. Um, and I think it gives him hope. What does his docket look like going forward?
Going forward, he is going to be facing Pratty in week 5, so pretty difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Week 6, CEO of Cheese World.
Winnable.
Not really sure what's up with him,
Yeah,
so it's going to be
he told me I'm gonna schedule my match like 2 different times. He never scheduled his match and he hasn't said anything to me in the last 6 days. So If he doesn't show up by tomorrow, we're probably gonna get up a permanent backup coach.
So we'll have to see then. And then week 7, Gandhi.
I think he's
So
got a chance. He probably needs to pull an upset to feel comfortable. Otherwise, it's going to be, can he get a good differential? Um, and it really depends on how good CEO's replacement coach ends up being, if CEO gets a replacement coach. Because I saw a glimmer of a strong going forward from this match. Moving on to
yeah,
number 13, all right with you?
yeah, all right with me. I think we can move on.
Number 13, I believe these were tied. These two were actually tied. The next two. Let me. Yes, they were tied.
Yeah, they are.
But CEO Cheese World got dumped in 13th because he didn't show up. Not much to say there. A
Yeah,
little bit of fuck you.
basically. Looks like we move on.
I still don't like this team much.
Too much grass.
It's just hard to look at, right?
Yeah,
It
it's certainly interesting.
it just looks wrong. Okay, that's not the point. Uh, we're gonna move on because this has nothing worthwhile. Nougat Boy, we gave him the 12, even though he did take up. Technically, he took a worse loss this week because CEO's loss was 0-0, but no, that's dumb. um,
Yeah,
Notably, CEO is very much within range of Chronoculars. He's kind of a match within range. Um, Chronoculars could definitely get out, but more importantly, Nougat Boy, Diamond, 1-3, -2. Rough week. Losing to Jamal does not boost your confidence. No offense,
no.
Jamal.
Yeah, well, when you lose to a winless team, it's kind of like just a punch in the gut.
Yeah. It's like when you lose to a team that's doing well and it's a close match, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I did pretty well. It was a good fight. Nice, nice. When you lose kind of brutally to a team that's below you, it just feels like it gives you that kind of imposter syndrome. You're like, ooh, do I deserve my rank? Am I gonna make it? And you just start questioning yourself, and it's a terrible downward spiral.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't inspire confidence at all.
No. I liked seeing Gothita come to its first match. It picked
Yeah,
up
I'm
a kill.
surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised it took so long. I think Gothita was definitely a pretty solid Pokemon on this team. Certainly better than some of the tier 3s, obviously. And
Yeah.
so I believe Gothita was tier 2. But like
Uh,
Bagon, Sandygast, like, really? Like, this thing needs to be showing up.
yeah. Uh, and it is under a new trainer, Nougat Boy, and
Mhm.
I mean, there's going to be some growing pains. You've got a new team. You're getting used to it. So I kind of get the loss, but he's going to need to pick up some wins. Uh, I think his docket is, if I recall, his docket is rough.
Yeah, I'll take one quick look at it. A week 5, Sigma Pi, not a fun one. Week 6, me. Week 7, Weebo.
That's about as
Ooh,
brutal as a docket can get. Maybe, I mean, like, the only thing that might be able to make that harder is like Jaw being in there, but even that's arguable. Those are
yeah. Well,
definitely three of the top four in the group. Um, yeah, I do not envy Nougat's position here,
yeah, not at all. He's going to need to pull off minimum one upset.
and he is in danger zone right now. He
Yeah.
is currently in the second dead slot, um, ahead of Jamal. Uh, Honestly, I think I would be surprised if Nougat makes it to playoffs at this point.
Mhm.
Honest,
But
Socket is brutal. He's working with a new team. This is an uphill climb.
but Diamond has been quite a volatile division so far.
Oh yeah,
So
Diamond's wacky. I mean, things just happen, and the whole paradigm shifts. We'll kind of see that going on. So I'm not counting him out. I'm not counting anybody out. Literally anybody here could survive or could die, except I think Not Shady is the only person that physically could not get knocked out at this point.
All right. Yeah, I think we'll try to figure that out when he's up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'd be really, really hard. Like there'd have to be a lot of tomfoolery.
His worst record's a 4-3. Everyone in the group would have to get, except one person would have to get at least a 4-3 record. I think it's physically impossible for him to get knocked out.
Yeah. All right, number 12 or
Number
11 rather.
It's Bohrkopf. Bohrkopf lost this week to
The
Weebo.
Oh wait, no, wrong.
That was the week before.
Yeah, it was a 4-0 to Jawentehunicorn.
Yeah.
Jaw.
Pretty rough loss against Jaw, if I remember correctly. Jaw was playing pretty clean. He had a really weird Squirtle set, but we'll talk about that when he gets there. There was a very unfortunate Darumaka Ice Punch miss. He was up against the Axew. Hustle bit him in the ass, and he didn't hit the Ice Punch. That's what happens when you use Hustle. Blitzel was deeply underwhelming. It felt like 30%. And it was a resisted wild charge, but still, come on. It's stab, man.
Blitzel is just disappointing in general, in my opinion.
It's less disappointing than, like, Yamper, but yeah.
So is Pichu.
The Skrelp, it did some damage. The Bronzor set, I think, was way too passive to be good. It was Rest, Screens, and Gyro Ball, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's just not a good set.
No, Rest just doesn't set very well. Yeah, you're never gonna die, but you're not doing anything. As we saw, he just ended up throwing 3% 1 HP Gyro Balls into a Yamask. It's deeply passive. Didn't Munchlax get into a Trick Room in this fight? I think, or was that next week?
I believe that's next week.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
One fight did happen next. We're recording this in the middle of week 5. All in all, kind of a rough match, and Bohrkopf's kind of spiraling. In just the context of this week, he's pretty comfortable. I mean, 2-2, you're a win ahead of Nougat Boy, but your differential's so bad that, and like, if he loses week 5, we know he doesn't, but bear with me. If he lost week 5, he'd be in the danger zone to me. Really risky. Otherwise,
and even then, it's just a tough differential to work with this late in the season.
And yeah, and his docket's not easy either, although he did pull off an upset, but I need to move on to the next person so I stop spoiling next week.
All right, number 10. We got Praddy.
Praddy-ish! He's climbing his way out. He's up to number 10. It's you love.
But he got a 0-0 win.
Oh yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So congrats, Praddy. Let's move on to number 9.
Yep. Number 9 is Hydreigon, climbing out of the danger zone.
Upset. Hydreigon upsets Weebo. 1-0. It's a really surprising win, but quite well earned with the surprising set. Specs Misdreavus just completely clapping an Anorith.
Yeah, I was told after he mentioned after the fight, or maybe before, that I think he got some team building tips from Nougat Boy. We saw the Violite Score Bunny ended up throwing a high jump kick out pretty late in the game against a Q-Fant. Super unnecessarily risky move.
Yeah. So with Q-Fant and Pumpkaboo left, he throws out high jump kick. Now, if Weebo had wanted to just sack off the Pumpkaboo for some reason, or if he predicted a high jump kick, you lost the game right
Or
there.
you just miss the high jump kick.
Yeah, or that. It's a 10% chance.
Yeah, Blaze Kick's also 10% chance to miss. But it doesn't kill you if you miss!
Yeah. In Blaze Kick, I believe, yeah, Blaze Kick had a very good chance of killing that Q-Fan.
Yeah, and I think it was like
Oh,
75 or 80% to kill.
nope. I calced it, and I initially calced it wrong. It was a guaranteed kill.
Guaranteed 1 KO. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, against this Q-Fan set.
We also saw him calm mind into something with knockoff. Oh no, he calm mind in the face of Pumpkaboo with Woobat. Very ambitious. And it got
Mhm.
very punished by getting blasted by a poltergeist.
Yeah, not a good choice there.
Zigzagoon got kind of bodied too, but it didn't end up mattering. Scorebunny and Krabby actually ended up pulling a lot of the weight here.
Mm-hmm.
Krabby's strong. Like a lot of Krabby, I harp on a lot. I have a very deep fondness for Krabby. I think min speed choice band Krabby is bad in general, which is what he was packing apparently. Um, but in general, I think Krabby's really strong as like a choice scarfer, a high speed life orber in a sticky web team. It's very, very powerful and it's easy to underestimate. Um, what was the sixth Pokemon this week?
Uh,
Scorbunny, Woobat, Krabby, Zigzagoon, Misdreavus.
yep.
And
Oh,
there's a
here, I'll
sixth.
just pull up. Galarian Meowth.
Oh yeah, it dealt 1 HP to a Q-Fant with a fake out and 14% to a Pumpkaboo with a gunk shot. Um, it did nothing.
Yeah, essentially complete nothing. It died, I think, to a high horsepower.
Yep. It was Misdreavus, Krabby, and Scorbunny that carried this game.
Yeah, the other three basically did nothing. Like, I mean, absolutely nothing.
But he's got the offensive presence on this team. This team has a lot of hard hitters. And
Mm-hmm.
it carried him through this match.
Yeah.
Going on to
A win's
number
a win.
8. Oh, you want to say something?
I was gonna say a win's a win, and it puts him very much in the race for playoffs.
Oh yeah, I mean he's in contention. Um, not only in contention, I would probably say likely. Um,
He's got a tough schedule, is the only thing. But if he beats Bohrkopf, which is the person he'll most likely beat, and with his remaining 3 games, he could have it.
I think if he beats Bohrkopf, he's in. He's safe.
Yeah.
Pretty comfortably. Moving on to number 8, we're looking at the top half. Most of these people are comfortable in their position. Um, our number 8 is Weebo. Took a big tumble here. Not massive. I think it was a 5th to 8th, right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right.
And that's what happens when you lose to Hydreigon in a 1-0. Uh, differential
Okay.
is different. It's weird. A lot of this stuff, you see a lot of high differentials in lower win rates, and the win rate differential balance, I guess you should say, is a little weird in this. We kind of
Yeah.
talked about this match. Not a whole lot to say. Leaving Anorith in to get bodied by a Shadow Ball.
I hate his Anorith so much. It should be Sash if you're gonna lead. It
Yeah,
should be Sash, and you should be able to get 1 hit off at least. In fact, 2. Stealth Rock Aqua Jet. I don't care. You could have knocked off the Misdreavus. Thing was gone, and you didn't have to take chip on your Galarian Farfetch'd, and you probably would have won.
honestly, yeah. Farfetch being healthy would have changed that game. Um, And yeah, we kind of talked about this match already. Weebo's probably going to be fine and make it to playoffs, but uh, his bye week contention is a little weak at this point. I
Yeah.
think there's three people that are all ahead of him, and I think they're really the competitors for the bye week at this point.
Mhm. Right now, he should probably be shooting for third, at least, just to get
Yep.
a very high playoff seed and
Hmm.
face somebody like, Bohrkopf or Hydreigon in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, get as high as you can. And if you can get all the way up there, maybe end up facing someone like uh, Chronoculars who squeaked their way in. Um, just try and get comfortable because you're probably not going to pick up the bye week at this point. I mean, if he goes on a 3-win record, it could definitely change. Um, everything we say is subject to change.
Yep.
Moving on to number 7, I believe this is myself. I actually took a 1-0 loss to Not Shady this week.
Really a
Deerling. Holy
fantastic match.
shit.
Yeah.
Holy.
Deerling, we all got to watch out for Deerling now.
Deerling smoked a Grookey with the return when the Grookey was at full HP. Um, it didn't even blink. It was just like, yeah, dead. Um,
I just,
I think my issue was I needed to, again, I make this mistake way too often, preserve the fucking Snubble.
mm-hmm. You
If
gotta.
I needed to switch the Snubble out on the Togepi so I could bring it in on the Deerling later. I was packing Gunk Shot on Mankey, it would have killed the Togepi. Um, was I packing Gunk Shot? I'm pretty sure I was packing Gunk Shot.
Wait, Goose, how much defense investment did that groupie have that you brought?
I want to say I can literally check. Let me
I
just
just want to see if this was how big of a role this was.
let me pause the recording real quick. Oh, come on. We have checked. It was a 56% to kill, which is tough. It happens. I'm not salty. Um, it was a really fun match. In all honesty, maybe I should have brought like Picky Peck this week.
Hmm.
Could have done a
Would have
lot of
been an
work.
interesting choice.
It wouldn't have been hit by Sticky Web too, which is
Yeah.
huge. Hopefully, I can pull it back next week, beat up Geyser, get back into maybe bye week contention, maybe just shooting for a solid third, something like that. So I'm coming for you, Geyser.
Oh,
Watch,
you've got
watch out,
threats.
bitch. Oh, okay. Moving on to number 6. I got Sigma Pi. Sigma Pi took a loss this week to you, right?
Indeed, he did an extremely close match. One
Tell me
nothing.
about it.
It was really quite a fight. That Clamperl had me absolutely spooked during team building. I had no idea what I was going to do against it. I ended up basically just wanting, uh, what is it? My little rock boy. Why
Dwebble?
can't I think? Yeah, Dwevel. I basically had him, and his entire goal was just your life is for just Clamperl. I was ready. His entire purpose was to die to Clamperl, but be able to take hits because of Sturdy and Juice. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what he did. He also got a very nice 4-hit rock blast on a fucking Violite Cutiefly, which I nearly shit my pants when I saw that.
Yeah, did
But
you even need to hit all 4 hits there?
I did not because of Scarfed Vullaby.
Okay.
I would have been fine.
I noticed yeah, I could tell your Vol was choiced up at a bare minimum, and that was interesting. Um, Sigma Pi's team looked solid. I loved his play, and there was some really interesting gameplay with Ball Toy go dancing around. Litton took a shit ton of damage, which made me feel like there was one point that it felt like it was like zero defense investment. Took a huge physical attack, took 90%, and then died to poison. which feels wrong with a Litten. Like, Litten should have a bit of defensive tankiness to it. Oh, Quadrunars. Uh, so, I don't know what happened there. Maybe I'm seeing things that aren't there. Um, but all around, really solid match. I really liked Choice Scarf Magnemite too. Uh,
Hmm.
I swear one of these days I will make my top 10 Choice Scarf Little Cup Pokemon. I know all the ones I'd pick, but I lost it when I cleared actually when I switched computers. Um, it's somewhere out there. I'm gonna figure it out eventually. But Magnemite was on there. It's a solid mon. Cool set. Cool team. He's gonna do fine. He's
Yeah,
definitely in bye week contention. Although,
very good differential as well.
yeah, fantastic differential. Same with me. We both have great differential 2-2 record. I mean, that's what happens when your losses are slim as knives. Um,
Mhm.
Moving on to the 3-1s, we've got 4 of those, leading off with a +1 differential.
I find that so funny. He is 3-1. I mean,
Yeah,
he's really shattered expectations, but he's only +1.
yeah, he's gotten 3 1-0 wins and a 0-2 loss. Or something like that.
But wow, I mean, Gandhi 5th overall, 3-1, and
Look at the
he's
dapper
positive.
dude!
The Dapper dudes they have to be my favorite team in Pearl right now.
They're just such good dudes.
The underdog story, really, but a very strong draft.
I mean, hard to call it an
Um,
underdog story. He is the season 1 winner. Oh wait, that season didn't happen. Never mind. Um, there is no such thing as LGL season 1. It is a myth.
I refuse to believe it exists.
It was a acid trip. I didn't have tears at the beginning of that. Season 1 had 2 tiers by the time we started drafting.
Really?
Yeah,
Was it just good and bad?
basically, you got 3 good and like 9 bad. But my bar
Oh,
for good was like viable in Little Cup competitive.
so there was plenty of very, very good bad.
Oh yeah, I mean there was like I bet like fucking oh god, Minchino is probably in the bad.
Oh
Most
no.
it was mostly the only stuff was like tier 1s and like the good tier 2s were in the good. And then everything else was in bad.
That's terrifying.
I think like Machop, Litten, no, Clampro wasn't. Magnemite was in the good. It was a weird season, but also nobody knew what they were doing, so it worked out just fine. Um, and somehow that spawned into the 14-week season 2 with 5 this. I don't know how the LGL exists.
It has a very dedicated player base.
We're going on a year old in under a month, I'm pretty sure. Um,
Hmm.
and Gandhi has been through it all. He's been here since the beginning. Um, Honestly, I think we don't usually lose people. We've lost like 2 people that were here in season 1. Um, he's here. He's doing great. Had a really good match and eked out another victory because that's what he does. He ekes out victories. He actually
Hmm.
won 2-0 this week.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Did he lose 3-0 one week?
Let's see. Yeah, to Pratty.
Okay, so he had
In
3-0 loss, 2-1-0 wins, and a 2-0 win.
yes.
Yep. Squeaking out the victory with Epsilon. Maybe he just needs to take a quick lesson in differential management, but I'm sure he'll be fine, and I'm sure we'll see him in playoffs, if not in a bye week. I think he's got a tough hill to climb. The top 2 in Pearl, I think I think the current top 2 in Pearl are very likely to be the bye weeks.
Yeah.
Uh,
But Gandhi, I don't think he has the worst schedule in the world by any means. He faces CEO this week. Then week 6 going to be tough up against Shady, who's currently undefeated. But then week 7 against Chronoculars.
That's an eminently winnable. I mean,
That's 5-2. That's 5-2 written all over it.
It depends on how Geiser runs. I think he really wants me to beat Geiser this week.
Yeah, you defeating Geiser would give Gandhi a clear path.
Yeah. And maybe Notshadykid going on a little bit of a losing streak wouldn't hurt either.
Certainly would not.
But, I think we all just want to see Notshadykid lose for once. Moving on to number 4, we've got Jawentehunicorn. This is the highest he's been, right?
I believe so. One of the biggest shocks of the season, I'd say. Coming back after
season.
I mean, he took a 5-0 week 2 loss to Weebo and then has stormed back from that.
Yeah, he just hasn't looked back. I just am now noticing that his name is Southside Score Bunny and he doesn't have Score Bunny. That's kind of funny. Okay.
There was no way Hydreigon was letting him have Score Bunny.
He had a clean win this week. He was able to capitalize on Bohrkopf's kind of questionable team. And Yamask G, the weird Squirtle set was the only thing I noticed. Fake Out Yawn, probably not a great set.
Oh, pretty cheesy, but you won.
Yeah, probably not because of Squirtle though.
Yeah, most likely not.
It didn't even do great, but Diglett Bulbasaur, Axew really are like a strong core here, providing a lot of Axes here. And complemented with Torchic, Weird Squirtle, and Yamask G doing a significant amount of work. There was one moment where Yamask G was able to survive a hit, I'm pretty sure. I might be misremembering, but there's like one time when he got I think he got a lucky paralysis on Charmander. That might be this week, might not be. I really can't remember. Everything is blending together and my brain is melting. I recently am back to taking classes, so I am doing this on top of the fact that I have pre-calc homework due soonish.
Oh, that sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it's not even the fun pre-calc, it's the trigonometry one.
Ooh.
I mean, I guess that is the fun one. It's different. You know what? I'm not going to talk about this in my video. Well, it's too late for that. Solid team. Yeah. He is in the number 2 spot for Diamond right now. Behind you.
Indeed.
Spoiler alert.
Oh no.
And I believe he is. Yeah, you're the only 2 Diamond players at 3-1. Sigma Pi is totally still in contention for this. His differential is still better than Jaw's. Jaw would just need to take a loss and Sigma wins, and it all flips. But Jaw's position has never looked better, and he is a serious top contender. I think he's kind of switched places with Weebo. Weebo is like the top of the group, but like not the tippity top. If you yeah. And now Jaw was like the gatekeeper towards he was the line between solid and less than solid in the group. Now I think Weebo's right where you want to be. You want to be Weebo or better to feel comfortable.
And Jaw, his schedule is ridiculously easy. Like for the rest of the season, he faces Hydreigon in 5. Jamal week 6, and then Sigma Pi week 7. Like you should win 5 and 6, and you've got a shot at winning week 7.
Yeah.
So 6 and 1, very possible.
And if he pulls 6 and 1, I think he's almost certainly top of the division. Actually,
Yeah,
knowing what we know right now, he is certainly top of the division if he goes 6-1.
indeed.
Moving on
So
to number 3, it's Baconater.
me.
We kind of talked about your match a little bit.
Mhm.
It
But
was I can't really I can't separate it from your week 5 match in my brain.
uh, I do believe that Dragon Dance Scraggy was not the best bring this week, but it did put in pretty good work since it pretty much
Mhm.
killed off a Witten, and it put a good dent in
That
an
was the
Eviolite
thing.
Scraggy or
Litten took
Machop.
way too much damage from a neutral Scraggy knockoff.
Yeah, but Scraggy's like beefy.
Scraggy hits hard, but I don't like Berry Juice Litten. I like my Littens of Violite in general.
Mhm.
It's hard because you only get 2, but even so, I like giving my Litten my Violite.
Yeah. That Vullaby, we might have speed tied on the leads Vullaby against Magnemite
Mm-hmm.
because if we were both 15, well, oh boy, am I lucky that I won that speed tie and got the U-turn off.
If you had lost that speed tie,
That I was game breaking if I lost it.
yeah, honestly, all around solid match. Other than that little kind of risky thing, you're in very solid position to take a bye week at this point.
Yeah, looking at, pretty good differential, pretty solid record. The division right now, though, it's ridiculous with the amount of solid teams we've got.
Yep.
Like Diamond is pretty much the most average division you could get. No winless teams, no undefeated teams. Plenty of upsets already. Plenty more to come, I'm sure.
Yeah, I can think of one, but I won't say that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's Diamond is contentious, and hilariously, you don't even have the best differential in Diamond. Sigma
Nope.
Pi's differential is still better than yours.
Hey, he's taken 2 losses.
Yeah, what a nerd.
Granted,
And one of them was
granted.
when he didn't own the team, but you know.
I, but all right, it looks like we're getting on to the top 2 in Pearl now.
Yeah, we got 2 Pearl teams, and first off, we've got Geyser at the 3-1 plus 7. Um, I wow, I am only 1 differential away from that. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah,
If I beat him, I like take his spot. Damn. Okay. Uh, Geyser was up against Chronoculars? Yes, Chronoculars this week. Um,
indeed.
and it was he got Vulpix sweeped off. He got really close to losing that one.
Oh, he was down pretty bad early,
He
but Vulpix just cleaved the rest of Chronocular's team.
If I remember correctly, Vulpix he had Chronoculars had an answer to Vulpix if he had played things out in the right order. He needed to stall out that Aurora Veil.
Mm-hmm.
And if he had played it out in a way that stalled out the Aurora Veil while preserving the threat to Vulpix, I think he had a chance to seriously win that game.
Yeah, and I believe Geyser was running Icy Rock, so
Instead
Aurora
of
Veil was
Lake
only
Play?
5 turn. Yes, I believe
Oh,
so. Yeah.
because he was packing Sandshrew?
Yeah,
Okay.
which then still would have made things very hard, but it would have been different.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have had the same result.
It was a shockingly close match for the person in second place going up against the person in 14th.
Mhm.
And Geyser doesn't have an easy docket, I don't think.
No, I mean he's facing you in week 5,
Yep.
and then week 6 up against Epsilon. So there's his easy one.
Yep,
But week 7 could be the best match of the season against Notshadykid.
yeah, that could be like if he pulls the win there and if he beats me and pulls the win there, he might get ahead of Shady.
He might. It'll be tough. We'll have to see differentials, but it's a possibility.
Uh the Pearl is kind of in Diamond. Everyone's kind of in one big mix. In Pearl, there's kind of two mixes where there's four people in one cup: me, Geyser, Gandhi, and Not Shady fighting for the two bye-week spots. And then there's the four people in the Death Cup, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
And each of them has like someone who's leaning towards death or bye week more heavily than the others, or is basically guaranteed it. So it's a little less dynamic and interesting than Diamond, but there's some very interesting like 2 to 3 person rivalries and counterplays that I'm really enjoying this season.
Yeah, this season has been fantastic from just a competitive standpoint.
Oh
There's
yeah.
really there's plenty of competition. Whether you're staying alive or looking for a bye week, you've got everything.
And speaking of the bye weeks, Notshadykid's
Mhm.
probably gonna get one. Notshadykid beat me with fucking Swaddle, Togepi, Talo, Deerling, Ghastly, Vulpix. That's just a disrespect team.
Indeed. I mean, that's pretty impressive that he can pull off that win. And he had missed a Fire Blast with Togepi that would have killed the Grookey and made it a non-threat. You got to prepare for Togepi's massive move pool.
I had brought Gumshot to hit Togepi. um, and like I think my main issue here was I over prepped for Timber. I had a lot of answers for Timber, and he just didn't bring it, and I'm like, oh.
Oh,
I love to see Sawaddle coming in, even if he did very, very little. He set up sticky webs, which is enough sometimes. And
that's all you want from your Suwaddle. If you,
oh yeah, and there's better. Honestly, Blipbug's probably better at setting up sticky webs, but you know what? Sawaddle's good enough too. Um, it's good week. Let's get on to our stats and facts. What?
oh, that's a little too far. We don't want you to leave yet.
Tell me about your favorite match, Baconator.
Well, it was definitely Geyser versus Chronoculars, and just the comebacks. You love to see a good comeback, and this had it right here. I mean, Geyser was down, I believe it was 6-2 or 5 or 6-2. I'll
I think
say
it was
5-2.
5-2. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like Chronoculars had lost him on at that point.
Yeah, I think Abra took something.
Yeah.
And so it's 5-2, and he's down to just his two Hail Boys, the Alolan Vulpix and the Sandshrew. And Vulpix just goes in, and it just blizzards and moonblasts and freeze dries everything in its path.
It
And
was a path of destruction for a very passive Pokemon.
well,
Typically
that's the thing.
depicted as
Yeah,
passive.
typically. But yeah, like I said, you can't underestimate it, even though you don't expect it to be the sweeper.
It felt like those memes about what like Eevee using Extreme Evo Boost, and it's like, oh, you're gonna baton pass? Ha! Nah! Just using stored power a bunch of times. Uh, it
It
gave me
gets
that
that?
same vibe. Yeah, Eevee gets
Oh my
fucking everything. I don't know why.
lord.
Um, on the other hand, my favorite match was Nougat Boy versus Jamal. This is a weird, wacky match. First win for Jamal, ending a losing streak, always nice. And then packing Endeavor Ferroseed, Hidden Power Ghost Froakie, and just some really nice back and forth gameplay for a solid. We had so many 1-0s this week. We'll get to that in a sec. Another solid 1-0 this week. Really, really fun match. I just was smiling the whole time. Great to watch. Yeah, just loved it. Closest match?
Oh, well, of course. Me versus Sigma Pi. It was closer by a few HP
What, like
than
3 hit points or
you and
something?
Shady. Yeah, that sounds about right. 2 or 3. Just because of Life Orb and Stealth Rock on Glamia.
Yep. You know, almost only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and being the closest match. Um,
That's right.
let's talk about fun facts. Fun fact number
Woo!
1, Epsilon takes the trophy. First player to reach a double-digit differential.
Oh yeah!
It's in the wrong direction, though.
Oh no!
Oh.
And
Oh,
yes,
no.
yeah. So week 4 of LGL season 3, first week to ever have 4 games be decided by a score of 1-0, and the previous record was 2.
Yeah, there's 3 weeks
2.
in season 2 that had 2 1-0s. And you know what? I didn't check season 1 records because I don't
Season 1
care.
doesn't count, and there's no way. Since what were there 8 teams in season 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, no way every match in a week ended in a 1-0.
I
No
mean,
way.
it was season 1 was like if you had one division and the same amount of Pokemon and a terrible tiering system.
At least it was way better in 2.
Yeah. Fun fact number 3, Notshady's Togepi is actually the only tier 6 Pokemon with a kill.
Mm.
Not to say tier 6 Pokemon are useless. They have done some important things like set up sticky webs and
Dodge crab hammers.
yeah. As a matter of fact, he has 3 kills with his Togepi. Which is more than Abra!
Yeah, that's something else.
Abra only has 2 kills. Abra is like the hardest hitting special attacker in the tier, or like up there. And
It
it
is the
has.
hardest.
Is it the hardest?
Yeah, it has like 10 more than Ghastly, so I think it hits an extra point.
It has. And it has 1 less kill than a fucking Togepi. You know what? That's a good note to just say, that's it. Go away.